In this video, we're going to determine the area between two curves represented by two separate functions. Okay, so one function, we'll call it y, is equal to 3 minus x, and the other one will be y is equal to x squared minus y. So we'll have to determine the area enclosed by these two curves. Okay, so as you know, the area between two curves will be determined by the higher function. So as an example, I'm going to write this. Suppose that this is one function and this is another function. So we'll call the line fx and the curve we'll call g of x. So obviously the area that you would need is this. And in this case, the area would be from A to B, and A would be this point, and B would be this x value, right? So A and B represent the limits, the x value limits over which you will be integrating the area between two curves. Okay? So from A to B, you subtract the function below from the function above, right? So basically, since fx is a higher function, this is going to give you fx minus g of x dx. Okay, so this is the rule. Okay, subtract the lower function from the higher function. So now, how do we determine a and b here? Okay, so suppose, well, we're not going to label fx and g of x just yet, but we're going to plot this in the xy plane and see what we're going to get. So now before you plot it, you have to find the limits. And to find the limits, you have to notice that when you find the limit is when the two lines or curves intersect, right? So basically, the intersection, the x values of the intersection points are the limits over which that you will be integrating, right? So a and b in this case, it is shown by the x values of the intersection points. Okay? So to get these x values, and obviously y values also are the same. So the x and y values in both of these intersection points are the same. So if you set these given y values equal, you will find the x values that produce that same y value. Okay? So let's see. So if we set 3 minus x equal to x squared minus 9, adding x and subtracting 3 on both sides, we're going to get x squared plus x minus 12 is equal to 0, right? That's the quadratic function. Okay, now to find the x values, you have to use the quadratic formula, or you can try to factor it. The factors of negative 12 whose sum is 1. Well, I'm thinking of 4 and negative 3. Okay, so x plus 4 and x minus 3 is equal to 0. Okay, so that produces x is equal to negative 4 or x is equal to 3. So there you go, these are your limits. So basically from negative 4 to 3 you will be integrating. Now the only thing remains to find out is which function will be fx and which one will be gx here, right? So you have one function 3 minus x, and the other function, we'll label it y1 and y2, is equal to x squared minus 9. So as you know, x squared minus 9 is a parabola that has a y-intercept negative 9 and it opens up. Okay, and so it goes all the way up here, right? all the way down there, and it just expands as you move up, okay, as the y values increase from that -9. Okay, so y is equal to -9. That's the vertex of this parabola. But 3 minus x is a straight line, obviously, right? Because the x is to the first power, and the slope is negative, and the y-intercept is 3 here, +3, right? So it's somewhere here, and it's going this way. So obviously, this parabola will pass here, will intersect with that line right there, which is x is equal to 3, as we just found out, right, from these limits. And x is equal to -4 is here, right? Right, so x is equal to -4. And here, x is equal to 3, okay? So now the area that you're obviously going to find in this case is going to be this area, right? The one that I'm shading right now. So now you know which function is the higher one and which one is the lower one. So fx is going to be, in this case, is going to be 3 minus x, right? Because it's the function above the second one, right? The straight line is above, you can think of it as above the vertex of the parabola, right? So the g of x in this case is going to be the parabola, x squared minus 9. Bingo! So now you're ready to integrate, right? So the area is going to be, and the limits are a and b. A should be less than b, so I should say a less than b, right? Because these are the rules of having limits in the integration. So a is less than b. So -4 is a, and 3 is b. Okay, so fx minus g of x dx is going to give us, integrating from -4 to 3, fx is equal to 3 minus x minus x squared minus 9 dx, and let's simplify that. -4 to 3, so 3 minus x squared plus 9 dx, and then equal to, let's keep simplifying it. So from -4 to 3, we will get 12 minus x squared dx. Okay, so now we're gonna use knowledge of integrating the antiderivative of 12 will be 12x, right? Because x is to the 0th power as is right now, but you will have to add 1 to 0, so you will have x to the first power, and also you will divide by that power, right? So it will be 12 over 1 divided by x to the first power, which is just gives you 12x. Okay, so we integrate that from -4 to 3, and then the antiderivative of -x is going to be -1/2 x squared, right? Using the same rule, because you're adding to the existing power of x 1, right? So it's going to be 1 plus 1, and also that resulting power will serve as the divisor in the coefficient, right? So it's going to be -1/2. Okay, so integrating again the definite integral from -4 to 3, and then minus, so now you have x squared, so it will become x to the third, and also you will have the coefficient of -1 over third, right? So -1 over 3 x to the third, integrated from -4 to 3. So let's see what we're going to get. This is going to be just a little bit of math to do, some algebra. So it's going to be 3 minus -4, okay, because you're subtracting the lower limit from the higher limit into the x, right? And then minus 1/2, and then subtracting the square of -4 from the square of 3, right? So it's going to be 9 square root of 3 minus -4 squared is 16, okay? And then finally minus 1/3. So now you're going to cube, you're going to subtract the cube of negative 4 from the cube of 3. So 3 cubed is 27. And then subtracting negative 4 cubed is going to be negative 64. So since there's a negative 64, but there's a minus sign already, so we're going to just do plus 64 for simplicity. Okay, so now it remains to evaluate what we're going to have. So 3 minus negative 4 is 3 plus 4. That's 7. 7 times 12 is going to be 84, I believe. Okay, 9 minus 16 is negative 7 times negative 1/2 is plus 7 over 2. And then minus 27 plus 64, that's going to be 94 minus 3, 91. 91 divided by 3, I'm going to use a calculator. Well, you can't do it exactly. So minus 91 over 3. Right, so let's see what that's gonna do. So obviously the LCD here is going to be 6. So we'll have to do 84 multiplied by 6 plus 2 will be multiplied by 3. So 7 will be multiplied by 3 as well. So it's going to become 21 minus 91. And this whole thing will be divided by 6. So let's see, using the calculator, I don't want to do math in my head. 84 times 6 plus 21, 21 minus 91. So let me try that again. 84 times 6 plus 21 minus, oops, I should have multiplied 91 by 2. Okay, I failed to do that. I think that's where my mistake came from. Now you see, I needed to multiply 91 by 2 because we have 91 over 3 and the LCD is 6, right? So 91 times 2 is 182. Alright, so now it should work. Let's check. 84 times 6 plus 21 minus 182. Good. It gives me precisely the correct answer. So the correct answer is 343 divided by 6. Okay, so I hope you found this tutorial useful. Please subscribe and I'll see you in my next video.